Hi, students. Okay, as promised, here's my format lecture. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. Hopefully, won't go over 15 minutes, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so what you're going to do is after you have your literary analysis, couple steps to make sure all of this is put together as neatly as possible. Okay, what this little lecture is going to cover, we're going to talk about line spacing, we're going to talk about font size, we're going to talk about headers and footers. Page numbers and candidate numbers need to be included on this. We're going to talk about quote formatting and citing because I've seen very creative interpretations of how to insert quotes on all of your papers, so we're going to set the record straight with this. I'm going to talk about word count, and lastly, you need to talk about a works cited page, which is going to be fairly simple. Okay. The first thing that I'm going to say is that if you are someone who decided to do this in a Word document, that's fine. But since Word is so finicky, especially with a lot of this formatting, I actually think Google Docs is much easier to use. Okay, so I'm going to strongly recommend that if you did something in Word, just transfer it, copy and paste it into Google Docs. And actually, this will be so much easier for us to print as well. So I strongly suggest that you put this on your Google Drive. Okay. Okay. If you're someone who feels like you're a guru at doing this, you can go ahead and just take a look at everything that I'm going to cover and what the requirements are for all of this. And you can fast forward to the end and sort of see the end product if you want to. For those of you who need step by step, here we go. Okay, buckle up. So first thing, like I said, pretend like you were someone who did this in your Word document. So here is my essay. You can read it. It's my mock essay. Okay. You're going to notice a couple things. This looks really nice and neat, and this is how everyone else's needs to look. Okay. First thing that you're going to note is that the essay doesn't start with your essay. It starts with the reflective statement. Okay. Wednesday, I'm going to ask you all to give me your email addresses so that way I can send you your specific reflective statement. You are then going to take that reflective statement, copy and paste it, put it at the beginning of your WIT, okay, your literary analysis. Then what you're going to do, once you have it at the beginning of your WIT, you're going to select all of your document, hit Control C or right click and copy, whatever floats your boat. You're going to go to your Google Doc, you're going to sign in, you're going to hit create document. Okay. First thing you're going to do so you don't freak yourself out, double click the title. Hello. Now it's freezing on me. There's a lot going on my computer. There we go. And you're going to say literary analysis final copy. And then last name, first name. Just for your saving purposes. Okay? Hit OK. Control V. And there is your whole paper. Okay? Now let's pretend all of you needed to have this in double space. That's the first thing. Line spacing. That's the first thing we need to cover. Okay. So pretend like this wasn't in double space. So what you would do in Google Docs is you would highlight everything that needs to be double spaced. You go into Format. You hit line spacing. You hit double. Okay, and it'll automatically take care of it for you. I doubled the double. Okay. Okay. Also need to make sure all of your paragraphs are indented. Make sure that's nice and neat. Other thing you need to note, this is exactly what you need to write at the top of your reflective statement. So you write reflective statement for, and then whatever book you chose, and notice that it's in italics. This can be italicized or it can be underlined. Author's name. All of this is also bolded. Okay, so bold that first part. Okay. You then make sure you have your entire reflective statement. This is obviously an abbreviated version. You'll notice at the end of your reflective statement you put word count, colon, and the actual word count. The way you do word count here, you select all of your words, title included, hit tools, hit word count, and it tells you the words for what you've highlighted right here. You enter that number right here. I did not include the title on there, so I'm going to do that now. Okay? You do that same thing after you're done with the reflective statement. You start on the next page with your literary analysis. Here's where my literary analysis starts. Notice the top is my title. Remember, I want all of you to come up with a title that reflects the literary device you chose and the overall topic. So my title, Awesome Literary Devices in the Class Who Fell from Grace with Mr. Martinez. Don't let that be you. Okay, so it's in double spaced. I've got that under control. This is not indented, so I need to make sure that's indented. I want to go through real quick, make sure all my paragraphs, wherever I've started a new paragraph, are indented. Okay, that's key. What did I say was next? So we talk about line spacing. Font size, 12-point font. Times New Roman, typo. Arial, Comic Sans, nothing else. Although I really hate Comic Sans, so I really hope you don't use that. Please don't. Actually, I'm taking that off. Don't use Comic Sans. Those two are acceptable. Nothing else. Okay, those are all readable. Those are all acceptable. Okay. Next thing, page numbers. This is why I want to use Word because, Google Doc because it's so easy to do on Google Doc. Word is really difficult. So for page numbers, you need to insert a header and a footer. And in the header, you're going to have the page numbers. The footer, you're going to have your candidate number. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit Insert. You're going to first go to page number, and you're going to do it at the top of the page. That is MLA format. You'll notice that it is blinking an icon. You are going to click before the number, and you are going to type your last name. So that way your last name appears before the page number. If we click outside the document, outside the header, you can now see I have a page number and my name on every single page that I've written here. Okay? Next thing you're going to insert, you're going to go to Insert, you're going to hit, where'd it go? Footer. Nope, didn't let me do it, sorry. Insert, footer, not footnote, footer. You're going to go up here, you're going to indent to the right, and you, for right now, are going to type this exactly, candidate number. The reason you're typing that exactly is because some of you do not have that yet. You will have that soon, and we cannot print your paper until we have your candidate number. If you are someone who knows your candidate number, and that would be anyone who was tested last year and you happen to have control of that, or you happen to have that somewhere, you need to put your candidate number right there. Okay, that is where that's going. If we click outside, we then see that your candidate number appears on every page. Make sure that all of the pages are intact and that they belong to you. Okay? See, next thing we need to discuss. Headers, footers, we got the page numbers. Next, quote formatting. This is really important because, like I said, I saw a wide array of different quotes. First thing, if you are quoting short pieces, here is an example. Uh-oh, this paragraph wasn't indented. Good thing I caught it. Here is where I incorporate. I'm trying to put this quote in a complete sentence, so I'm contextualizing it, comma, then starts the quote, which is your evidence. Okay, you'll notice there is no punctuation aside from the quotation mark. Then you have a parenthesis, you have the author's name, you have the page number, end parenthesis, period. That is what you do for short quotes. Okay, that are let me say it again. Short quotes that are incorporated into a sentence. If you have a quote that is not incorporated into a sentence, then you need to do it like this. You have the first part of the sentence, which sounds like its own sentence. If I didn't incorporate the quote into a sentence, I would use something like this. And then I put a colon. And then I put a quotation mark. I put the quote. Again, there's no punctuation aside from the quotation mark. End parenthesis, or I'm sorry, beginning parenthesis, author, page number, end parenthesis. Okay? Also, if I say the author's name beforehand, before the quote, like this, like Mishima, I don't need to include it in the parentheses after the quote, 34, because that's redundant. I just put the page number, because I've already said it before. Okay? So take a look at this and make sure that all of your quotes address, and that is for short quotes. If you have quotes that are longer than 4 lines or more, then you need to do what is called a block quote style. Okay, this is where, and pretend like this is my quote from the book, and it's more than 4 lines as I type it out. What you do here is you highlight that entire quote, you go into Format, you go to Line Spacing, and you make sure it is single spaced. The next thing you do is you go up to the margins, and you have to still make sure it's highlighted. You go up to the margins, you move it in 1/2 inch on one side, move it in 1/2 inch on the other side, and you now have a block quote. Okay, and again, this is only for quotes that take up more than 4 lines. Okay, I really want you to make sure if you're going to do this that you are using you are analyzing every single part of that quote. Okay, I really want to see less longer block quotes and more shorter quotes. Okay, that proves for a stronger analysis. Not many of you did this, but some of you did. So those of you who did do longer quotes, this is your format. You'll also note that you do an end quotation mark in this case. There are, I'm sorry, not an end quotation mark, you do a punctuation mark. You'll notice that there are no quotation marks for block quotes. You just start right away with the quote and you end it the same way. Parentheses, author's name, page number, end parentheses. And then you continue on with your paragraph, and hopefully this will be the analysis that you're incorporating for this specific quote. Okay, so that's for block quotes. Make sense? Hope so. If not, rewind it, listen again. Okay, so we have got the quote formatting. Word count, really important to understand. You're going to have 2 word counts. First word count is only for the first one is for only for the reflective statement. So again, you select all of it, and actually, yeah. So select all of your word count, and I'm sorry, don't include the title. Only include for the reflective statement. Only include what you've written, because I know that would throw some of you off. And you put the word count. Remember, 300 to 400 words is the word count for that. You can't add. Remember that your reflective statement, it has to be what it was. So even if you were under the word count, you have to leave it. Or if you over, you have to leave it. We can't fix the reflective statement. The only thing we can fix are grammatical errors. Okay, if you catch any. That is the only thing you can change. Everything else must stay the same. The second word count that must appear after you are done, after you have your entire essay, which you are then going to do, you are only going to select the words from the essay. This one you do include the title. Okay, all parts, every word counts that you used. You go into Tools, Word Count. You look at the specific word count. You're writing this number right here, the ones that you've selected. To make sure you've selected all the words. Close, write the actual word count, and then write the number here. Remember that your word count must be between 1,200 to 1,500 words. If it is over, you will be marked down 2 points. Period. Okay? Please make sure that you are putting the word count. Okay? Okay, what's the last thing? I think there's one more. Works cited page. This one's super simple. So what you're going to do for the works cited, I already have it here. It's the last page in your document. And really it's only, if you only used the book from class, you are only going to have one works cited. If you are someone who used and are actually citing other information from somewhere else, you need to include where you got that work, okay, on this page. Alright? But just so you know, this is what you need to include. The last name and the first name of the author, title of the book in italics, city of publication, the publisher, year of publication, and the medium of publication, which for you all will be print. Unless you are someone who used an ebook. Okay, then you're going to say electronic. Okay? I will put up a document that has all of this information on it in this order, so that way this last step won't be that big of a deal. Okay, but you do need a works cited page, so that way we can print this all off and send it away. Okay? So at the end of this formatting process, you should now have something that looks something like this. Okay? Reflective statement, bolded title, the title of the book you used and the author's name, double-spaced reflective statement that you will I will have sent to you. You copy and paste in here the word count for the reflective statement. You'll notice you can't forget that we have your name, your last name, page number as a header, candidate number as a footer. Okay. Next, whole new page. Start out with your actual literary analysis. At the top is your awesome title that you came up with, bolded preferably, and that mentions the book, which is going to be italicized. You then make sure all of your paragraphs are indented. You make sure that the title is italicized and the author's name is capitalized. You will also check your quotes. Make sure shorter quotes, depending on what you have, matches these different formats here. If you have longer quotes, you're going to match the block quote format right here. Okay? Don't forget, at the end of your essay, you need to select all, put the final word count here. Last page is your works cited, and this is the MLA works cited for a book that you used. Okay? That is everything that I want you to include. This is now going to be, after you're done it, it's going to be saved on your Google Drive. What we're going to do when we print is you are actually going to go down to File. You're going to go to Download As, Microsoft Word. it's going to have downloaded it, put it into a lovely little print, lovely little document for you. Here it is, it's all popped up, everything is in order. Might be a couple things that we need to fix, and we'll check this. The day that we print, you are actually going to read through your essay. You're going to make your final corrections, so that way we make sure we don't have any printing mess ups, just like I had here. We had just a couple. You're going to make sure it's spick and span, because we have to remember this is a final assessment that an examiner will be grading. Okay? So we have to make sure it's as perfect as possible. So you're going to download it, you're going to read through it, we're going to hit the magic print button, you're going to print it out to me, and this assessment will be done. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know, preferably on the day that we have planned to print this out, and I can help you out when we pull this up. Otherwise, this is everything that you need to make sure you have checked off, and you have the lecture here. You can rewind and fast forward as you need to. Okay? 16 minutes. I met my goal. Excellent. Thank you all.